It's a new month, which means it's time to talk about some no spice, closed door, clean new romances that are coming out in August. I do these videos every month, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any future ones. Let's go ahead and get into these new releases. We're going to start out with some brother's best friend / best friend's brother stories. First up, we have If All Else Fails by Emma St. Clair. This comes out on August 5th, and I got to read an arc of this, which I was just so excited about. I absolutely loved it. It's so perfect for the summertime. So this book follows Josie, and her brother tricks her basically into spending the summer going to help out his best friend who has a hockey injury. And while she's there, she finds out that he had plans to sail down the intercoastal waterway that summer, and he can't because of his injury, so she offers to go with him, and they go sailing down the East Coast together. It's so summery, it's so fun. A lot of the time they're on a boat, which I feel like is perfect, and again, a brother's best friend romance. This one is on Kindle Unlimited, and if you've read the Appies series, this is not directly a part of the Appies series, but Wyatt is from the Appies series. You'll see him, especially in some of the earlier books, and then he transfers to a different team. So you might get a few Appies cameos in this book too, which I really loved. Then for a best friend's brother story, we have Falling Into Place by Allison Ashley. This one comes out on August 19th. This one follows a personal stylist / accountant, and then the male main character is a doctor, and he is her best friend's brother. And basically she ends up taking him on as a client, I think a personal stylist client, and she just finds that he's not the same crazy party kind of boy that he was when they were in high school. She kind of gets to see a new side of him, I think. And yeah, this one sounds really fun. Normally, Allison Ashley's books have something medical going on, so he's obviously a doctor, so I'm sure there's somewhat of that in here too as well. I just like to put that as a note because I know I personally don't always love reading medical things, and so some of you might not as well, but I think this one sounds really fun. Next, we have a couple of friends to lovers stories, which are some of my favorites personally. First, we have Anywhere With You by Ellie Palmer. This comes out on August 5th, and this is a childhood friends to lovers romance with a road trip set in northern Minnesota. And if you can't tell by the cover, he's a musician, which I feel like is just so fun. I have read that this one is more fade to black rather than no spice, so just keep that in mind because I know everybody draws the line of where they would fade to black a little bit differently, so I always like to note that. And then we also have The Boyfriend List by Nicole Lamb. This one comes out on August 8th. And this is the second book in her Love in LA series, which is on Kindle Unlimited. And it follows a lawyer who has a very specific list of what she wants in a man, and I think she ends up being surprised by who in her life might be checking some of those boxes, or I guess checking all of those boxes. Now for some workplace romances, and first we have The Fear of Falling by Dana Leichamont. This one comes out on August 6th. This is the fifth book in the Love Connection series, which is on Kindle Unlimited. And this one specifically follows a woman who goes on a trip to Italy and then comes back only to find out that her Italian fling is a new marketing consultant that's working at their job, and also her ex's friend. What are the odds that you go to another country and come back and somebody's so intertwined in your life? That's absolutely crazy. I feel like this one would be really fun for the summer with a little bit of European adventure tied back into the workplace. And then we also have Hooked on You by Stephanie Stoker. This one comes out on August 26th. And this is the second book in her tactical dating rom-com series, which all of those are on Kindle Unlimited. In this workplace romance, he is her boss, and instead of a meet cute, they have what she calls a meet fright. So basically just think the opposite of a meet cute, not what you want when you're meeting someone that you like. And I think this is not your typical workplace romance in that it incorporates a little bit more action and adventure, outdoorsy maybe, if you can tell by the cover. And I feel like that would be a really interesting twist on a workplace romance. Moving along into some sports romances, which I feel like going into the fall time, I want to read sports romances even more, whether that's football or, I guess it's just football season, but I feel like hockey starts to come back, and I I feel like it's just the perfect time of year for it. First, we have The Confidentiality Clause by Anna Conwell. This is the 5th and I believe final book in her More Than a Game series, which is on Kindle Unlimited. All the books in this series follow like a different sport, which I think is so fun. And this one has a little bit of a different twist. So this one follows the sports agent from the first 4 books. So I don't think he specifically plays like any sport himself, but he's a sports agent for all the previous athletes, which I think is a really fun, unique concept. And this specifically, I think, is a best friend's brother situation, and he's kind of a workaholic, and maybe she helps him get out of that. I don't know. We'll have to see. Next, we have Framing the Pitch by Ashley Funk. This one comes out on August 12th. And this is the first book in her new romance series, Red Dirt Romance, which is on Kindle Unlimited. And this one specifically is a softball, friends to lovers, fake dating romance, which I don't think I've ever read a softball romance. I love a friends to lovers romance. And I feel like fake dating with a friends to lovers is so fun because it's like they know each other and they're friends, but they have a line of like, no, we're friends. But then if you're fake dating, you can like cross that line without fear of like ruining the friendship because you can just say, oh, it's because we're fake dating. So I feel like that's a really fun situation going on in this book. Now we have 3 books that are in a new hockey romance series written by some of our favorite No Spice authors. This series is called Love in Maple Falls, and I think these first 3 books come out in August and the rest come out in September. I think they're releasing 1 a week. The first one is called Fake Off with Fate by Whitney Deneen, and it comes out on August 13th. This is just a classic small town hockey romance. The second one is called Offside and Off Limits by Kate O'Keefe. This one comes out on August 20th, and this one is like a social media manager, hockey player, kind of forbidden because they're working together kind of romance. And I've read a few of these kinds of hockey romances, and they're always some of my favorites. I don't know what it is, but it just works so well. And then the third one is called Checking Mr. Wrong by Ann Kemp. This one comes out August 27th. And I think this one is kind of a grumpy sunshine, forced proximity kind of situation. And all 3 of these sound so fun. I feel like this will be so perfect to pick up in the fall time, especially. I mean, Love in Maple Falls. I feel like maybe they'll have a little bit of like some fall ambiance going on too. We'll have to see. This last sports one I have to mention I am really excited about, and that is Rookie Season by Katie Bailey and Leigh Bruner. This one comes out on August 21st. This is described as a new girls hockey romance, and that's because he's an NHL rookie in his first season, and she ends up moving into his apartment with him and his other 2 roommates. So hopefully you're seeing the new girl connection there. And another exciting thing is that this is the first book in their new series, Hockey Boys of Loft 3B. And this is like a second generation kind of story that follows like some of the characters from Katie Bailey's book, some of them from Leigh Bruner's DC Eagles hockey romance series. And yeah, it's just interconnected with some of those with like parents and siblings and all kinds of things. And I feel like it'll just be so fun to be immersed in like a whole hockey world. Now we have a category that I just kind of labeled mystery and adventure. These are romances that are still romances, but have an element of action or mystery or just something else going on. And honestly, these are my kinds of mystery adventure stories because I don't do well with like scary things or anything too intense. So these are like cozy action mystery stories that I feel like you guys will like. First, we have The Blonde Who Came In From the Cold. This comes out on August 5th. It's by Allie Carter, and it's the second book in her The Blonde Identity series. And I'm just going to read like the little synopsis because I feel like this one's harder to explain, and I really liked the synopsis. So it says, 10 years ago, they joined the CIA. 6 years ago, he left the game. 5 years ago, they fell in love. 1 year ago, she ran out into the cold with absolutely no intention of ever coming back. And 2 minutes ago, they woke up bloody and bruised and handcuffed together in the dark. I mean, what's going to happen? So I think this is like a second chance situation, but then they're spies and they're like going on a mission. So just the action mixed with the romance, I think will be really fun. Then we also have Troubled Waters by Lee Debrenska. This one comes out on August 26th, and this is the first book in her Songwriter Sleuths new series. And basically all of these books, including this one, I think are like cozy mysteries. This one specifically is like a cozy music-themed murder mystery. I think they're all set in Nashville. So this one follows Lee, who stumbles upon this murder on Music Row and ends up enlisting her roommate to kind of help her solve it and figure it out. I think there's some romance going on, and then obviously they're trying to solve this mystery. And then I also think you maybe get to like peer in the window at kind of the music world with songwriting and recording and all of that stuff. And I feel like this will just be so perfect for fall time and just such a cozy mystery. I feel like this is, like I said, my perfect kind of Halloween book. It's just a little mystery, a little spooky, but not anything crazy because I can't handle it. And my last category I just titled Miscellaneous. These are just the books that didn't fit into any of the other categories that I kind of had already made. So first we have Accomplice to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer. This comes out on August 5th. This specifically is a cozy fantasy story that follows a villain and his assistant, if you can't tell by the title, but it does have a romance subplot, and I've heard really good things about this, so I wanted to mention it here even though it's not strictly just a romance. Then we also have Gelato at the Villa by Robin Jones Gunn. This comes out on August 19th, and this is a faith-based fiction story that's set in northern Italy, which I feel like would be so fun for the summertime, or even better if you had a European trip planned. And it just has themes of like friendship and travel and adventure, and I believe this is the second book in her Suitcase Sisters series. On August 20th, we have The Disasters of Dating by Mindy Burbage Stunk. And I think this one is kind of a mistaken identity story where she works at the airport newsstand, and this one guy like keeps coming to her newsstand at the airport, and she's like, oh, maybe I like him. But then she's got something going on with this like wrong number texter guy, and so she doesn't know what to do. And yeah, I feel like that will just be a very complicated but fun situation. And this is the 6th and final book in the Love Connection series, which is on Kindle Unlimited. Next, we have a book that I immediately added to my fall TBR, and that is Olivia's Only Pretending by Rebecca Jo Jackson. This comes out on August 26th. I mean, just look at the cover. Does it not look so perfect for fall? And it's set on a college campus. It's a romance between a professor and then this guy who is fixing up her house. So I think it's like a strangers to friends to more kind of situation. So yeah, this is the 3rd book in her Sweet River series, which is on Kindle Unlimited. And I feel like I need to read the first 2 so I can pick this one up as soon as it starts to feel like fall. And last but certainly not least, we have Until We Meet Again by Bailey Thomas. This one comes out on August 27th. This is the 2nd book in her Unfinished Love series, which is on Kindle Unlimited. And this story follows a woman who says she's done with dating, and then one of her best friends is getting married, and so her and her other friend convince her to try to get a date for the wedding. And I feel like wedding books are just so perfect, especially in the summer and fall time when it's still wedding season. And that's all the new releases I have for you all today, but don't forget to make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss future videos like this one. And if you're looking for some more No Spice book recommendations, I will link this video here for you to watch next. As always, thank you so much for watching. Take care, friends.